Good afternoon. May it please this honorable court, Dion Webster Cox appearing on behalf of Mr. Harris. How are you, Your Honor?
We will see.
We're good. We're good.
Mr. Brown, or somebody from the PD's office, because I did not get a substitution. I got an appearance.
Oh, I've got a substitution right here.
Signed off on?
It is.
All right, then I don't need to address substitution.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to open with a courtroom entrance that sets the tone. Counsel appears, substitution is noted, and the judge's first curt lines tell viewers this will not be a sideshow. This clip hooks you. Formalities become foreshadowing. The bench explains it will correct the record, and you instantly sense the stakes. It's a clip that editors will love for pacing, and for creators, it's a clear moment to drop an overlay caption and reaction cut. Use tight trims and let the judge's voice dominate. Hamad. All right, guys, we now see the judge announce she'll clarify the record, an authoritative moment where accusations of faulty information are confronted. This is the setup, legal framing, the judge's duty to accuracy, and the first real indication that public claims won't stand unchallenged. It raises the stakes and signals the courtroom will correct misinformation point by point. It's prime context for the story arc. Label it "Judge sets the record straight," and let that...
All right, what are we doing today?
So, Your Honor, we were going to, there are several options that my client...
Well, and I want you to know, counsel, that because of certain things, the court has a number of things I have to say.
Okay.
Because I think the record, given particularly some of Mr. Harris's comments with reference to this court potentially acting what, at least as I'm to understand, is on what some may be, or is it, let's put it this way. People are saying, and quite frankly, your client has made the assertion that the Pittsfield Township, as well as this court, was acting on some type of defective or faulty information, which I will tell you, counsel, caused the court, given what the court did, to investigate what my ruling was. And I will tell you that that assertion is absolutely correct with reference to any faulty information that either came through to the Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety or to this court ultimately at the May 15th hearing.
Guys, today we're going to hear the judge deliver a hard fact. The defendant never held a Michigan driver's license. That line punctures defenses and reframes everything heard online. It's a crisp credibility strike, short, absolute, and devastating in context. This moment is the pivot from rumor to record, and it lands like a gut punch. Hold the reaction, subtitle the line, and you have a viral-ready soundbite about truth versus spin.
And I think it needs to be stated, I've been asked for comments. I have refrained from comments, as my normal practice is. This court, with the pending case, will speak on the record. And so I am going to make sure that the record is very, very clear as to what this court knows and what this court acted on May 15th. And we can start with this. And my basis for doing it is because of what was said about what this whole process was. And that an indication, counsel, and I know, counsel, you've been before me before. Absolutely. I know it is not coming from you, but you also know how I am. I do. And the thing is that if for whatever reason, the one time in my life I was wrong, I will say it, and did. But when I'm not wrong, and when people are not to blame, then it also needs to be said. So I will try to get through this as quick as I possibly can. But I will tell you, first of all, with any reference to your client having had a license on that day.
All right, guys, in this segment, the judge explains the legal distinction between suspending a license and suspending driving privileges, an important technical clarification. She makes plain why the responsibility sits with the defendant, not the court or state. It's less flashy but vital. Viewers get the rule that underpins the judge's later conclusions and why blame should land where facts show it belongs. Editors, add a short caption explaining privilege versus license for clarity.
And some indication or misunderstanding as to whether or not he had a license. Let me make it very clear, based upon what the court looked at, he has never had a Michigan license, ever, and has never had a license in the other 49 states and commonwealths that form up this great union. He has never had a license. In point of fact, when they suspended his license, and what people don't understand, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the license. They suspend the privilege to drive in this state. Hence, for example, if he had had a Kentucky license, he would be able to drive everywhere that Kentucky would allow him to drive. He just couldn't drive in Michigan because his privileges had been restricted. I know you know that, but that wasn't at all said. But it doesn't matter because he didn't have a license ever. There is also then, and I will, when it is necessary, come to the defense of my sister courts, and I will come to the defense of Saginaw. They got a great chief judge. The chief judge answered the question. But I will tell you, that court and its friend of the court did nothing wrong. His license was, his driving privileges, better stated, were unsuspended in 2022.
Buckle up, guys. This clip walks through the unsuspension timeline and how the Secretary of State acted appropriately. The judge dismantles the narrative that the system failed. The records show the state removed the suspension once the proper steps were taken. It's a methodical takedown of the system error defense and builds the court's factual authority in the viewer's mind. Use this to pivot the narrative from outrage to documentation. Show receipts, literally.
That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it. Therefore, that friend of the court was under no obligation to send anything to the Secretary of State. Now, I hated that I had to look at all of this, but when there's a question as to what I did, I'm going to look at everything to make sure that what I did was all in order. There's then an indication from that because that wasn't sent, there was a direct attack on Michigan's Department of Secretary of State's office, saying that the Secretary of State was somehow at fault. Let me tell you something. Secretary of State did what they were supposed to do. And in point of fact, they did nothing because they hadn't gotten anything from the court because Mr. Harris had not paid the reinstatement. This week, or the latter part of last week, once he paid that, Saginaw friend of the court did what they should do, and they sent it. Immediately, based upon the information that I have, the Secretary of State did what they do every day. They took that suspension off of his driving record, and he was then unsuspended.
All right, guys, here the judge gives context about the October traffic stop and the court's rehabilitative approach. She's firm but emphasizes restoration. This segment shows a judge balancing accountability with mercy. Yes, consequences matter, but the court's primary aim is to help people regain legal driving status, which reframes the story from public shaming to correction. It's a measured, humane beat. Pair it with softer music or a lower third that reads restoration ridicule.
And then your client did what he needed to do with reference to the Secretary of State and paid a reinstatement. Okay. Just a second, Mr. Schiller. I'm going to let everybody respond because
Thank you.
I am not done yet.
Okay.
All right.
You covered a lot of the points for me. Thank you, Your Honor.
And so that came down to that. So the information at the time that I had, that Pittsfield Department of Public Safety had, was all correct at the time of both Pittsfield stop as well as the May 15th day. It was all correct. There was no error by anybody. it was a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. Now, I grant you that sometimes that can be a complicated process, but it was certainly not anybody's fault that that didn't happen other than that wasn't paid. Now, here's the other thing, and I'm like maybe in church where I say I'm about finished now, but the other part of this is this stop was in October. Most of the cases that we've heard just in this last afternoon are driving while license suspended cases. That's part of my Wednesday afternoon. We go through great pains to try to get people their licenses back, which is really how it should happen. Between October.
Guys, this is the crucial contradiction. The defendant claimed he was bedridden and couldn't visit the Secretary of State, but the court pinpoints that he actually renewed his ID on December 28th, 2023. This is the major credibility collapse. The judge narrates evidence that directly contradicts the defendant's story. It's the clip every editor dreams of for viral impact. Keep this full exchange, add a bold caption, contradiction revealed, and let the court's timeline speak.
And because I don't live under a rock, I actually watch things. You look very nice on TV.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There was something that was sad, that was very disturbing to me. And I'm just going to let you know because I believe in being fair with everybody. The question was asked along the lines between October of 2023 and the point in time of the May 15th hearing. Was there an attempt by Mr. Harris to correct his license? Here's the part that was disturbing for me, so that you know.
Okay.
Mr. Harris indicated that at some point he had been involved in some accident. Then being involved into the accident that he was basically bedridden or at least housebound, he could not get to the Secretary of State. That was set up there. And I'm going to presume, because my knowledge of counsel, defense counsel is, I know you don't misrepresent anything.
Right.
You never do.
Right.
That's not true.
Okay.
He purposely stated that he could not get to the Secretary of State, which for the way we handle things in this court would have placed him in a whole different category. We would have tried to find a way. Let's figure it out. And the reason I know that is because Mr. Harris, on December 28th of 2023, do you know where you were?
December 28th, 23.
23rd.
2023.
I know I was laid up from our
You were
accident.
at the Secretary of State's office. And you were at the Secretary of State's office because you redid and got your new Michigan ID. I have the date. That's the date you did it.
All right, guys, the judge digs into pattern. The defendant habitually renewed an ID, not a license, which reveals a long-running misunderstanding or evasion. This clip unpacks motive and routine, why the claims didn't align with records, and the judge scolds the defense for not being upfront. It's a clean follow-up to the prior reveal, exposing a pattern rather than an isolated mistake. Use this to show that the issue is systemic to the defendant's choices, not a clerical error.
December 28th, 2023. You did. And so that you also know, and in all fairness to counsel, because I don't know if counsel knows this or not, the way I know that he's never had a license is because May 3rd, 1990, he was 19 at the time. May 3rd, 1999, he applied for his first Michigan ID. Counsel knows, so I do, you cannot have both. You either have an ID or you have a license. One of the two. He has religiously every year gotten a new ID. And so he knows that he doesn't have a license. And quite frankly, I just wish he would have said that at the beginning. And all of this hoopla could have been just put all aside. And we all go through the process as we do with all of the people coming here to try to get him his license back. But his falsehoods, misstatements are not going to fare him well in this court. I'm done for now. I'm sure I will have something else to say. Whichever one of you would like to speak first, you may.
I'll wait to go last.
Buckle up, guys. Now the prosecutor confirms body cam footage in which the defendant admits, "I don't have a valid license." That on-record admission corroborates the court's findings and deflates the viral narrative. The prosecutor also condemns the circus around the case. This clip shows law enforcement and court records converging on the same reality. Editors, subtitle the admission and consider a brief cut to body cam, if available, or a body cam confirms.
Yes, I spent yesterday at the Pittsfield Township Police Department with Officer Monaster, performing the traffic stop in this case. I also noticed the December 28, 2023 date, and I know the significance of that, and the court just went through that painstakingly, and I thank you for that. In addition, at the traffic stop, when I was at the police department yesterday, we watched the body cam video. At least twice during this traffic stop, he acknowledged to the officer that he did not have a valid license. Quote unquote, quote, "Actually, I don't have a valid license." Close quote. The question was, "Are you a valid driver?" Quote, "I am not." Close quote. So, you know what, this is all this hoopla and the circus atmosphere is, in my opinion, it's an affront to the justice system. I mean, I've been a prosecutor for more than 30 years, and to see this kind of hoopla around a driving while licensed suspended case is ridiculous. And it wasn't caused by this court. It wasn't caused by the Pittsfield Township Police Department. It was caused by the extrajudicial statements made outside this courtroom.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Go ahead, counsel.
thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Well, first thing I'd like to say is,
All right, guys, the defense attempts damage control, arguing the viral video wasn't posted by the defendant and stressing steps toward remediation. The lawyer humanizes the client and thanks the officer for restraint. This moment shows lawyers attempting to shift the frame from blame to repair and is essential to balance the judge's stern findings with the client's effort to make amends. Include the officer thanks beat to highlight the goodwill that could temper consequences.